Hello and welcome along. Today we're down at the fairly noisy compost maker because we're going to be spreading a load of compost. We're going to be doing this up on field 13. And yeah, we're just filling up our bunning manure spreader here with the compost. And this should top it off. Very quickly. There we go. 100%. Ah, 237 litres left. That's fine. So we'll park this up here. And we'll get out of this fairly noisy area. There we go. Into our New Holland. And away we go. So yes, so we're heading up to field 13. We are going to spread compost. And the hope is that this will increase our fertilizer for this field. We're going to be putting wheat into the field. Oh, always a frame rate drop at that point. I think it's got something to do with the amount of equipment and things I think I have at the top of the hill. But yes, so we're heading up to field 13. We're going to cover that in compost. Increase our fertilization, get the winter wheat into it, and that should then give us a really good amount of wheat and straw and everything come next year. So that this is absolutely the preparation and everything. And so I'm quite happy with this. What we do have is we have this nice new bunning manure spreader that we're using. It's a reskin of the Joskin, but I think it still looks very nice, especially on the front of this tractor. Just going to clear course play off this because we don't need it. We are probably going to end up using GPS though. Right, so let's start this off and away we go. Nice and wide, and you can see it's spreading really well. So that's really quite good. Why is that dropped to 2 miles an hour? There we go. I must have hit the accelerator then for that to happen. So it is getting through it fairly quickly. And it may take a little while to do this. I'm half tempted to get the once we get the first row of this done, to go and get our Massey with a trailer and get that filled up and get up here, and maybe, just maybe, get a big pile of compost up here to do this job with. We're going to be emptying this, by the looks of things, fairly quickly each time. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fairly swift empty. But let's make sure we stay on the field. We still have a fair amount left. But this is, yeah, so this will increase our fertilization and make sure that we start off in the best possible way with the winter wheat. Now I think what I'm going to do at this stage is maybe set us up with the GPS. So let's get that open. Oh, we've run out anyway. Right, so I will go and refill this, and we will be back in a moment. So here we are back at the field with a whole nother trailer full, and we're going to line ourselves up here on this way. It's a little bit sharply turned then. Line ourselves up along the field here and set ourselves up with the GPS. So auto work width, we'll actually go new, we will reset the offset. Yeah. What I need to do is actually need to straighten everything up. There we go. Right, and in doing so, set this up. So I'm going to go new again and turn it, because I want to get as much of this side in as possible, like so, that should then line us up quite nicely. Yeah, that's exactly what that does. Forward, and away we go. There we go. So now we're doing more compost, which is fantastic. So this should give us absolutely plenty of this. We should have enough to cover this entire field. It is. It takes a lot more to do this than you think. Always does in farm sim. You end up with having to spread more manure and more compost, and we just cannot produce enough manure at the moment on the farm to do this, to produce anywhere near enough to properly fertilize the farm. Right, so I'm going to go up here and turn around. That should get that first bit. Yeah, turn it off. And then we'll get the second bit and head out across the field. And what we can do after we've done this run is we can set it going on the hired worker, and in doing that, we can then go and get our lorry and get a trailer full of compost up here to do the reloading with. It is very much a single trailer of this. Only does us about 1 row's worth, if that. Or maybe a row and a half. I think what we're going to find at this point is that we run out of space. And it's quite a lot of compost. Yeah. Oh, can we make it to the end? I'm not sure we can. So yeah, winter wheat is going in here. Is the plan. And we'll get probably our... Well, we have been using the case to do that kind of job. So that seems to be the best thing to do. Again, we are out of compost, so we'll head back and fill this up. And this is the thing. It is that compost takes time, not because it's a time-consuming job, but because you have to keep going backwards and forwards and filling the tractor up all the time. So what we're going to do, as I said, is we're going to fill this up one more time, and I'll show you guys that, because I think it's important to show how many buckets we have of this to fill it up. And we're still producing compost even now. You know, we are by no means short on it yet, but it is just one of those things where it's a lot of back and forth, a lot of filling up the compost, the manure spreader with it, and then just spreading it. But it does take the time. It does, you know, take this whole thing of just this constant back and forth. I think today we will probably get about halfway through the field. There is one downside to this compost maker, and that is that you cannot fill it. You cannot do this job with a conveyor belt. You've got to use this and fill it this way. Whoa. Let's actually get it into our spreader. There we go. Yeah, so it takes just over 4 of these to do this. But as I said, because that is constantly producing them, or producing compost at the moment, even compared to what we had, it does mean that we are actually not too bad off. We have plenty of compost to do this field with. We should have enough to do the field that we've got the corn on as well. Whether we'll have enough to do the sugar beet field, I don't know. But the thing about both of those fields is that both of those fields are also ones that we're not worried about doing compost and getting the first level of fertilizer on. We need to actually put radish in both of those in the same way as we have on field 41. Radish will be the first stage fertilizer on them, and putting radishes in, especially with seasons, just makes sense. Unless you're putting a winter crop in like we are here. You've got your autumn harvesting. You've got to plant in the spring. So why not plant the radish, let the radish grow over winter, get the first stage fertilizing from that and the boost, because of course the radish gives an extra boost on top, and it just then works really well. Right, let's get back to the field. There we go. So this is basically the process for doing this. It's fill it up, do a couple of runs in the field, and back. And it's just a constant thing of that. And it is one of the few things that really is time consuming in Farm Sim, and simply because more than anything else, it's this running backwards and forwards to the field constantly. And you can mitigate it. So, for example, what I was suggesting that do in a minute, which is get a trailer full of compost. So, trailer full of compost with our lorry, and head up to the field here. Put a big pile of it on the field, and then do it that way. And a lot of farmers do it that way. That is a very reasonable and very normal way of doing it. Right. There we go. So basically, we start from this end of the field. We can then clear up what we have at the other end. Oh, I like that a lot. There we go. So it's, yeah, we basically work our way from this end of the field back each time. It means that we sort of empty, we sort of get empty about halfway on the return. But we do have a few bits to fill here. We are getting to, actually we're not making bad time on this by any means. We're nearly halfway through the field on this. And I think what I'm probably going to end up doing is finishing this off camera. But you guys, the thing is, I want to give you guys the general idea of how this, and give you an overview of this this budding spreader, because this is actually really nice colour blue to this. And if you've got a New Holland tractor, I think that this this spreader just goes really well with it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Right, so we have enough to now turn down here and just fill in this patch that we didn't do at the end of the last run. And then there's this patch here. And And this then will cover this bottom third of the field. We'll have done by this. There we go. About this way. Yeah, so we have covered a good proportion of the field so far with this, which is very good news. But it does seem to be the best way to do this, is to basically get as far down the field as you can, go and refill, and then head back from the other end to do it. So I'm going to go and fill this up one more time, and then we will come back to the top end of the field and do one more run. Okay, we're coming back up to the field here with one more. Do one more run with this. Where are we? So it is this row here. So it gets us to about halfway through the field. But it's generally, this works well. It's a good little muck spreader, this. This is almost a review of the bunning itself. It looks nice. It's very nicely textured, which is basically the big change on it. I like this. And I like how this works. And this is going to make a big difference to our winter wheat. This is absolutely going to increase our yield. And I love the texture on the ground as well. It's just a nice job to do. It's just a little bit annoying that it does take so long going backwards and forwards. And it is, in this case, you drive the whole way down the other end of the field and then run off and grab some more compost, pretty much. But we've almost made it up to the island, so I'm quite happy with that. It's worked pretty well, to be honest. I'm not sure if you would want a bigger muck spreader on this farm. I'm really not sure. I think this does the job plenty well enough, but it is the whole thing of running backwards. But as I said, you can mitigate that by bringing a trailer full of this across to the field to start with. Right, and turn that off so we don't waste any. Yeah, you see, we still have 33%. So that's not too bad at all. But you can mitigate it by, by basically just coming and putting a big pile of it on the field. I think, I did say it'd be the last one. I think we have enough time for me to run back and grab one more. And that will get us halfway up the field. Yeah, because we are, it does about a row and a half. This. And that'll give us a nice clear run for that. So one more load. Oh, let's head back up that way. And we'll do the full run again. So basically every other run I've done a full run back to the farm. There we go. Whoa, there we are. It's not that far, but it is just the whole thing of it's a lot of back and forwards. There we go. Round into the yard. It's also interesting that now that I've run through the yard a couple of times, I'm not getting the frame rate drops. And I'm guessing it's because the first time I ran through the yard, the first time I drove through, I ended up, it must have loaded in a load of the models and things, even though they're sitting in barns. And it means that now that I'm running through, those are all loaded in. So it doesn't need to do all of that anymore. Which is quite cool. I do kind of wish that the conveyor belt worked with this. This would make this loading up. Actually, it'd probably slow this loading up. Thinking about it. Right, let's lift that out. There we go. Because, you know, this bucket actually loads quite quickly. It takes 4 and a little bit to do it. But it does fill quite quickly. Or it does empty quite quickly into the spreader. You could have a couple of these going, and you could run one back while the others, while the hired worker is running on the field, and keep switching them around. That would work. That would work very well. There we are. In the middle. Let's not pile it up too much in one particular end. There we go, and then we've got a little bit of space in the middle for that last 25%. Because the thing is, that isn't actually tipped on the ground. That is, that's. I think that must be a holdover from 15, but it basically. It isn't a tip pile. You walk up, you drive up to it, and your bucket instantly fills. Which I think is why it doesn't work with the conveyor belts, because the conveyor belts are after tip anywhere stuff. So I think if you took it out, of here and put a pile somewhere, then yes, you'd be able to use the conveyor belt with that to load up. So you'd still got to get the bucket and move it. But then if you're filling a trailer with it, tipping onto the field and then put a couple with it, that would work. That would work very, very nicely. But anyway, so let's get one more of this done. And then I will leave you. But that's a good run. We've not got a huge amount more to do. And I will get this finished. But yeah, I'm really quite happy with how this has worked and how this has gone. It is I was worried that we may not have enough compost. I'm not worried about that anymore. Yeah, that's not a problem. We will easily cover this field. I think if I was going to do field 41, I might be a little bit more worried. But as we're not, as we're doing this one, it's it should cover it very nicely. And that island is just over the halfway mark. So if we get one more row back with this, then that will be good. That will get us halfway through the field, which would be absolutely perfect. I think we're gonna get about halfway down here, as long as we have about 66% left is our target. Oh no, we're not quite gonna make it back to the end of the field. That's ever so slightly annoying. Yeah, 60%. So we'll head down this way. And we'll empty this out one last time. There we go. Yeah, that's worked well. That's worked very well. And as a first stage fertilizer, that will then... Well, what we'll probably do is I'm tempted to cultivate, but to be honest, as we have a direct drill, we'll probably direct drill this in at this point, and get the winter wheat in that way, and that will then produce a really good yield on here. We already have a lot of wheat, which is fantastic, but this will produce a really good amount for our second year of wheat. There we are. We are at 10%. And almost. Oh, that's... Yeah, we are going to be just short there. Right, so I'm going to stop this here. I'll continue this off camera and get the rest of this field done. But for now, all that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, drop us a comment and give it a share. And for all the latest videos and live streams from Virtual Farmer, please subscribe to the channel and I will see you next time. Goodbye.